privileges. Yep.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. I'm kind of nervous at the moment, so you're probably going to see me stimming, but I hope that shows you that it's okay. I'm going to share my screen for you. I've got a presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, I got the little things there. Here we go. Present. All right. I was raised by my single mother in public housing. We didn't have much, but our house was full of love. My father was absent and he wasn't the best of role models. I couldn't talk until I was 4, and it was only really gibberish until I was 6. I got bullied right through school, and when I left, I continued to struggle to make friends. So much of my life has been spent trying to figure out who I am, how to be happy, and what does it mean to be me? I'm 28 years old. I was diagnosed autistic at 23. And it wasn't until recently I realized maybe I'm different, and that's okay. We didn't have much growing up, so it was hard to find help. Mum couldn't afford to have me assessed, so I grew up without a diagnosis. At age 4, after 6 months of waiting, I started speech therapy. The therapist tested me, and although I couldn't speak, my understanding was that of a 6-year-old. I couldn't speak, and that didn't mean that I was dumb or less than, or that I didn't understand what was going on. I left preschool with only one friend, and in kindergarten they separated us because they thought maybe that would help me build my confidence on my own. It didn't work. I lost my only friend. He was my voice, and I struggled. So Mum started coming with me to school. She taught me how to read and how to speak. We practiced reading every day, and sometimes I did it more than play. At home, my sister played games with me. She played the games that I learned at speech therapy. There were games like Snap, Go Fish, Memory, but they all used phonetic sounds like ch and s. So we would be playing this game, and every time I picked up a card, I had to say what it is. And I didn't realize that I was learning at that time. I was just having fun. I was playing a game. But I think when the focus is on having fun, that's when we learn the best. When we focus and we spend all this attention trying to learn or trying to teach and there's no fun involved, it's really quite boring. How many kids get bored at school? How many of you have struggled to stay focused in school because it doesn't interest you, or the teacher is unable to engage you? I struggled at school because most teachers I met, they didn't get me. They didn't understand my needs. They didn't know what worked best for me. They didn't understand what it's like to be autistic. Even if I had a diagnosis, I think they probably would have dismissed my needs. I loved swinging on my chair. I would lean back and I would rock and I would just get in the zone. I was so focused. I was taking in everything that the teacher was telling me. But then they would stop and the teacher would say, "Stop swinging on your chair. You need to focus in class. You need to pay attention." And just like that, I lost all my focus. I didn't know where I was anymore. I couldn't think clearly. I was struggling to learn because this teacher didn't understand my needs. And I get it. Maybe it's not okay to swing on my chair, but I need to rock. I need to move. I need to stim. I need these things to help me learn in class, to stay focused. And I didn't know that. I didn't have that information because I didn't have the diagnosis, and my teachers weren't equipped to understand that. Had they provided me fidget toys, had they allowed me to rock in my chair, maybe I would have learnt better. Maybe I would have learnt more. I just clicked too far. Um, mm, mm, mm. I would be looking around the room because I couldn't focus. And the teacher would ask me, "What are you looking at? Why can't you look at me? Why can't you focus on what I'm saying to you?" And again, they thought I was being rude because I didn't fit the image that they expected. And I was never going to, because I needed to look around for me to focus, and they didn't understand that. I didn't fit the box that they wanted me in, and unfortunately, that's an all too common story. We are taught that we have to fit a certain mold, that we have to dress a certain way, act a certain way, walk a certain way. We have to eat certain foods at a certain time of day, and all this is needed for us to succeed. I don't think that's right. Firstly, we need to play to our strengths. We need to know ourselves. We need to know who we are and what works for us. We need to feel free to be ourselves so that we don't get stuck in our thoughts. In 2017, I worked a full-time job. I bought my first house. I studied full-time at university. It's fair to say people would have called me high functioning, but that's only really what they see, what I show them. I present as neurotypical, but there's things I struggle with that a neurotypical person doesn't. For dinner, I had chicken chips almost every night. And that's the nights that I remember to eat. Here I was living by myself, and I was having the same struggles that every other autistic person has, every struggle that parents have in ensuring that we eat the right foods. Last night I had ice cream and a protein shake, and I ate the protein shake because I thought I might be missing some nutrients. So I might be high functioning, but if I didn't have my mum sometimes to remind me to eat healthy, then sometimes I would forget. And yeah, I thought that I didn't eat many veggies growing up, and I spoke to mum about it. I thought that I only ate mashed potato, and she said, "You know those rissoles that we used to have for dinner? Yeah, I used to grate up vegetables and hide them in there. You know, the mashed potato, I had about 3 or 4 other veggies hidden in there too." I thought that I wasn't eating veggies until I was like 21 because I don't like the texture of them, but my mum found ways of working around that and ways of making it fun to eat food. And that's the thing, like we all have these challenges that we have to find ways of working around, otherwise we might struggle. And for me, I struggled a lot whilst I had all this going on. I had work, I had uni, I had all these things that I had to do, and I forgot to wash my clothes. I forgot to clean the bathroom. I forgot to clean up the sink. Here I am, a high functioning autistic man living independently, but I was struggling with a lot of the things that needed to get done. So I bought a dishwasher. And that meant that as long as I packed the dishes away, I could get them clean. I found a way to overcome the things I struggled with. I installed a new wardrobe because my clothes were everywhere, and now I've got it neatly packed into individual compartments. I can sort my clothes by color, by style. I don't have to think because everything is lined up in a system for me. My dirty clothes, they're no longer on the floor because I've got a laundry hamper built into my wardrobe. I use tools, systems, routines, things that can provide me structure to help me manage the things that I can't manage myself. I have a checklist on my wall that I use every morning before I come to work. Each of the items on that checklist has a compartment in my room, and I just have to go through that, and I grab each thing, and once the compartment's empty, I know that I've got it. And every time I use it, I try and put it back there. It's very easy for me to get distracted by the day, and I could be like, oh, where's my phone? And then all of a sudden I realize that I've got it stuck to the fridge or someplace silly like that. And so I try and have a place for everything to go. My drawers all have glass fronts because if I can't see in the drawer, then they don't exist. I don't know about any of you, but did you know there's a compartment at the bottom of the fridge called a vegetable crisper, and stuff exists in there. I had no idea because when I go in there, it's in a drawer. I can't see it, so it just doesn't exist. If I close a cupboard, what's in there, I completely forget about it as well. And it wasn't until I found a community of people like me online that I found out there was a name for that. And it's called object permanency. So I don't know if any of you have experienced that, but finding this community online of people like me really opened up my mind to understanding myself and understanding the world around me a bit more. My mother did the best with what she had. Every parent wants the best for their children, and then there can be a lot of pressure for kids to have the best of everything. My clothes were bought 3 sizes too big so that I could grow into them. My wardrobe was probably filled with more hand-me-downs than new clothes. My mum puts a lot of pressure on herself. She could give me the world if she could. But here's a really funny thing. I love wearing the same clothes all the time. I could have worn the same tracksuit for 3 days straight and I would be so happy. Here was my mum worrying so much about the clothes that I had to wear, and here was me, this young autistic boy that just was wearing the exact same tracksuit every day. And honestly, I think that's a blessing for some parents because you can buy multiple of the same clothing, or you can just wash the same clothes every day, and it simplifies things. I wore the same jumper for years. Here's like, these photos are some of my TikTok videos, and each one of them I'm wearing the exact same jumper. And my way of being different was having the exact same jumper but in maroon. So I have 2 of these jumpers, and my way around appearing like I'm dressing different each day was to have 2 in a different color. Clothing for me, it depends a lot on the way that it feels. As a kid, I used to have all the tags cut off my shirts, all my pants. I had to take my jumper, like I've got this woolen jumper on. I wore it because it's cold, and I'm like, this will be great. I'll wear that to work. And I'm sitting here on the call with Thea, and I'm going, because it's tight and it's itchy, and I could not cope with it at all. And I just had to take it off so that I could focus. And this is why I'm so fussy about the things that I wear. If the clothing's too tight, it restricts me and I can't move freely. It's just grabbing me all the time and condensing me. And I grow attachments to things very easily because it's so hard to find clothes that fit comfortably. The jumper in this photo, I absolutely love this jumper. And I don't have it anymore. I gave it to a girl that I really, really like. And for me, it was like giving up my security blanket. I've got this jumper that I wore every single day. And I think to be autistic, it's very easy to grow attachments to things. And it took me, I said to this girl, I'm going to give you my favorite jumper. And it took me months before I actually handed it over. And I was thinking to myself, and I was just like, damn, like if I give this girl my jumper, what does that mean? This is my favorite possession. If I'm going to give this girl my jumper, I'm going to have to marry her because I can't let it go. This jumper it's a part of me. How am I going to find a new jumper? So even as an adult, I struggle with the exact same things that kids are struggling with. I know a lot of people, like society tells us, oh, you can't wear the same clothes every day. But I think you can, and I think there's ways of tricking people into thinking that you are, or there's ways of tricking your mind into believing that you're wearing something different. I have like 5 or 6 different white t-shirts, and they've all got tiny little logos on them or something on the back, and it doesn't feel right if I wear a different color, but I have a different shirt on every day. I'm pleasing my mum, I'm pleasing everyone else, and I'm pleasing me at the same time. One of the things I do as well is, well, I kind of treat my clothes like a uniform. And so they're all kind of similar colors, but I also have zippers on my shorts because I know, like, I love to run and play, and I love to move about, and I often get so caught up in what I'm doing that I forget things. So I put zippers on my short pockets. So now I can chuck my phone into my zipper pocket, and I know that I'm not going to lose anything. So again, it's like this, it's this thing of having a place for everything to go. I know that if I go out for a run, I'm not going to lose my keys. I'm not going to lose my phone. There's a safe place for it to go, because like I'll go for a run and I'll be like, that's a cool tree. I want to climb on that. And so I'll climb on it, or I don't know. I love to move. And if I've got all this energy inside me, I need to do something with it. Education. So I know a lot of parents struggle because their kids don't speak. Like they've got an autistic child and the child's not speaking at 4, and they're like, oh no, my child, they don't speak. And they're very fearful that because of that, we're not going to be able to live a productive life. So it's a little bit for the parents. I couldn't speak when I was 4. At 5, I remember starting kindergarten, and I said to the teachers, like, what did you do on the weekend? And I said, well, I got stitches in my head. And she said, what did you do in the kitchen? And I said, no, I got stitches in my head. And to me, it sounded clear as day because I knew what I was saying, but the teacher had absolutely no idea whatsoever. And that's a big part. Like, things for me didn't change until I had speech therapy. And speech therapy didn't stop there. It became a part of home life as well. And that's what I was saying earlier about games. So I would play games that would disguise learning. I would have flashcards that would say, ch, well, and like that, if you sat down with someone and you said, that is honestly boring. Like that is, if I had to do that with someone now, that would bore me to tears. And so imagine a kid that just wants to have fun and play. To the kid, like the kid, honestly, they probably don't care whether they can speak or not. Like they've got their way of communicating. But it's important for people to be able to understand us, and not everyone understands the different languages that we have. So having a way to do these through games was really beneficial, because I would get competitive. I'd be playing Snap with my sister, and I would get so competitive about it, and I'd be like, bam. And then she'd be like, bam. Because I wasn't speaking. Because I didn't want to speak, or I couldn't speak, or I was too shy to speak. And she said, you can't win it if you can't say it. So I'd have to go, bam, che, or or na, beat you. And that really helped me learn because I was just having fun. I was playing a game and I was getting competitive. And my sister always held me accountable. She still always holds me accountable. My sister loves to rip it into me all the time. When I need honest advice, I will talk to her because she's the one that's going to give me the most honest feedback whatsoever. And that's really useful because I think it's important to have a good support network around us. It's important not to just, well, for me being autistic, I need people to tell me the truth. I need people to be straight up with me and tell me what they're thinking, what they're feeling. If I've done something wrong, I need them to explain to me why. I can't have them just being like, oh, I'm fine. Because I'm going, well, you don't seem fine, like you're crying. If you're crying, that doesn't mean you're okay. So why are you saying that you're fine? And I get stuck in these thoughts trying to figure it out and wondering what I can do and stressing and worrying. And if people just say, if people are honest, it's so much easier. And often people aren't though. And so I need to have a good network of people around me to make sure that I can rationalize things, that I can understand what's going on exactly. If someone's feeling something, I want to make sure that I'm saying the right things, because often I don't say the right things because someone will be like, oh, I'm fine. And so I'll be like, cool. So I was thinking about this, and then I'll go off on a tangent talking about my special interest. And then they're like, don't you understand? I'm not okay. And I'm like, but you said that you're fine. So anyway, so did you know the steam engine can? And they're just like, Ben, no, I need your support right now. And then I have to remind them, I have to say, well, if you say that you're okay, then to me, you're okay. If you're not okay, then please say that you're not okay. And then I can be there for you. There's certain things that we just need. And I think there's certain things that are important to everyone, really, like honesty and clarity. I think it's important for people to understand our needs so that rather than us be disabled by the world around us, we can thrive. Even in this little presentation, I've had to adjust the camera down because this light's too bright. And I tried turning it off, but it's just too dim in here. And simple things like this, as an autistic person, they make it harder to focus. In school, the lights were fluorescent lights, and whilst I'm trying to work, all I hear is, so I'm sitting here trying to learn, and this bright's going, and I'm trying to like figure out how to do it. And so I start swinging on my chair, and I'm hearing this, and I'm swinging on my chair, and it's starting to go away because I'm self-soothing. And then the teacher interrupts, and the teacher's just like, why are you swinging on your chair? And then all of a sudden, nothing's working for me. Even at work, like the guy beside me at work, he has ADHD, and so he'll start tapping, and that helps him focus. And it probably helps me focus a bit too, because I'm in the zone, I'm working, I'm getting everything done. And then our boss goes, Daniel, can you please stop tapping? And I go from this, like I'm hyperfixating, I'm getting my job done, and then I'm just like, what happened? Daniel's tapping? Why did you interrupt me like that, Peter? I was here trying to work. And yeah, I think if we want to succeed, and we want students and we want our children to succeed, we need to understand that there's a lot of sensory inputs that make it a lot harder for us to focus and function. These are things like having adjustable lighting or using natural lighting where possible, avoiding using these noisy fluorescent lights, providing kids fidget spinners and toys to use in class, or allowing them to stand up and move around or stim if they need to. Have a bit more flexibility rather than structure. I've sort of been designing my home so that it just suits my sensory needs. This is a photo of my bedroom. So I've got colored lighting in there, and I can adjust that to be any color that I like. I can dim it. I can make it super bright if I want to. And I've got a night sky projection as well. So I can lay there and just pretend that I'm outside looking at the stars, and I don't have to worry. I don't have
Hi
to
guys.
worry about it being
Sorry.
cold. Pardon?
Sorry guys for that interruption.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I love different textures. I have fake grass on my wall that I just love to go up and just scrunch it sometimes. And that's really soothing for me when I've had a really stressful day, when I've been overwhelmed sensory at work. I can come home and I can lay on a shaggy carpet and I can just touch it, or I can put some music on, or I can put my noise cancelling headphones on, and I escape into my own world. And part of the reason with having the colored lights and the night sky projector is I can pretend that I'm anywhere I want to be. And it's great. It gives me an escape from this world that can often be too overwhelming. So what is masking? Because this is something that many neurodivergent people do, whether they realize or not. Masking is a safety mechanism to help us fit in and keep us safe. It's hiding our neurodivergent traits so that we appear normal. It's very draining, and too much masking can lead to having a shutdown or having a meltdown. And something for me I found is learning to unmask can be quite difficult, but it's also helped me to be more free. And through my TikTok videos, I try and normalize stimming and unmasking and helping people to know that it's just okay to be yourself. So this, if it shows, is, nope. Let's click through. Nope. So this is a video of me. So this is me when I'm not masking and going places. I want to have fun and play. And this is me when I'm masking. And honestly, I think when I'm unmasking, I'm a lot happier. It's funny, like I went on a business trip recently, and this was me walking with everyone, but then I couldn't contain myself and I started running and jumping on all the plants around me and just like running my hand along things. And I find it so much more fun when I be myself in public, but there's so much pressure because people be like, what's up with that guy? He's a bit different. He's a bit strange. And maybe I'm different, and that's okay. What is stimming? So I talked a bit about stimming before. Stimming is self-stimulatory behavior. It's very common amongst people like us, and it can be done by everyone. It helps us release and regulate the excess energy in our body and allows us to focus better. So throughout this talk so far, you've probably seen me. I was getting anxious and I just had to raise my arms up like this and just throw them out. But people in the office will look at me like I'm weird if I'm doing that, and that's why I mask. I mask so that people don't realize that I'm different, because I've always been taught that it's not okay to be different. But that's why I'm here to tell you, like, if you need to flap your arms up, if you need to shake them out, if you need to like get up and just like dance or move about or something like that, that's completely okay. If that's something that you need to help you, then that's completely okay. Part of the success I've had on my TikTok is just showing videos of me stimming, showing people that it's okay, and I want to normalize that. So this is me just really excited, and I've put text on here of the things that people have told me over the years, but sometimes I have so much happiness inside me and I need to let it out. I need to jump. I need to move about. I just need to flow freely. If I'm feeling all these emotions and I'm not moving, it's really going to bother me and affect me, and it's going to make me shut down more. So these are some of my stims. So sometimes I make vocal stims. So sometimes I'm just like, or I need to shout, or I need to do something to let this out. Or I have negative stims sometimes too. So if I've had a really bad day and there's been a lot of negativity, then, and people are still like talking and talking, I'll still start smacking my head on my ears. And it's very important to try and figure out stims that are okay, that aren't damaging to myself or harming myself or harming someone else. I like to touch my hands a lot. I feel a lot of energy in my hands and feet. I walk around on my tiptoes a lot at home as well. I don't know how many of you walk around on your tippy toes at home? I have been thinking these past few days, I'm like, why do I do it? And it's because of the floor feels so weird. Some things just feel so weird on my feet. And I love to just, I think what helps me sometimes is just to like, I'll go wash my feet with water, or I get outside and I walk in the grass. It's very important, I think, to get out in nature. In nature, there's no electricity out there. There's no lights that are buzzing. There's nothing artificial that can sort of affect us. It's just natural light. There's wind. We can shout if we need to shout. We can run if we need to run. We can move about. We can play. We can climb on trees. For me, it feels so nice to get out into nature. And I think it's really important for us to just reconnect with the earth and where we come from. For me, everything has a feeling. Like if I'm in a concrete office, it feels a certain way. It doesn't feel alive to me. It feels kind of dull and flat. At home, I've got a lot of plants in my house because it just makes the room feel nicer. And some of these things can be good, but other times it's a little bit frustrating because I'll be at the supermarket and I'll go to pick something up and I'm like, no, that one doesn't feel right. Nope, that one doesn't feel right either. What about that one? And I start to struggle because my OCD kicks in and it's like, that one, there's something wrong about that one. I don't know what it is and I don't want to know what it is. I still need my sandwiches cut a certain way because they don't taste the same. If I have a sandwich cut in rectangles, it doesn't taste right. If I have a grilled cheese sandwich and it's cut in rectangles, I'm not going to eat it. I need it cut in triangles, but it has to be 2 triangles and it has to be diagonal. But if I'm just having a regular sandwich, sometimes it's okay to just be bread, but I'll probably squish it down because I don't like how fluffy the thing is. A lot of different foods have texture and a lot of different things feel weird. I can't eat certain foods because of the smell. I can't eat fish because of the smell. Sometimes I can't eat cereal because it goes soggy and it makes me gag, and that's a real challenge sometimes. Oh, there we go, foods. I still eat pretty basic foods, but I've sort of found ways of making it work. When I started training and getting into the gym and exercising, I started to enjoy broccoli and beans, but I found that if they were boiled in a pot, I got inconsistent tastes and textures, and I found a lot of consistency by using frozen vegetables. So that was sort of my way around it. There's a lot of inconsistency in food when it's fresh, and sometimes frozen food makes it easier for that. I know as well, like there's a lot more consistency in eating a chocolate bar. Like every time you get the chocolate bar, it's going to taste the same. But when you buy fresh vegetables, it tastes different every time. And that's one of the biggest struggles I have because we need to eat healthy. But I struggle because it tastes different each time. Sometimes a blueberry is more mushy than another time and I can't eat it. And then the food gets wasted. Yeah. When I was a kid, I was very, very selective. I often just ate pancakes for dinner. And I was a very skinny kid. I struggled a lot with my health because I wasn't eating enough of the right foods. And It was a battle for my mum sometimes to get me to eat what I needed to eat. And that's when she started hiding vegetables in foods. Or yeah, for me now as an adult, I'm having to find the foods that work and what doesn't work. So speaking of finding, one of the things that has helped me the most is finding a community. I grew up and I was different. I didn't have a diagnosis and I was amongst normal people. I was amongst all these people that were doing such confusing things that weren't clear in the things that they say. They didn't talk about their feelings or emotions, but somehow I was different. I was always getting called weird. The things I did was wrong. I remember in high school, someone saying to me, "Oh, you eat funny," or "You eat like a kid." Even now, like I come to work and I'm having this yogurt pouch. I'm not like eating yogurt with a spoon. I'm eating it from this little kiddie pouch. And they're just like, "How old are you? 5?" And I'm just like, "Well, this is more convenient for me. This suits me much better. The texture is much easier for me to deal with." And that's where it comes back to again. Maybe I'm different, and that's okay. I can be 28 years old and I can have a stuffed toy if I want to have a stuffed toy. I can eat kid foods if that's what I want to eat. If I'm going to find more pleasure in having a Toy Story yogurt, then I'll have a Toy Story yogurt. I'm not worried about what someone thinks about me anymore, because I've struggled to find foods that work. So if I find something that works that doesn't fit someone's expectations because it's made for kids, well, I'm not going to worry about it, because it's a bigger worry for me to not be eating the right foods. Finding a community online has really helped me, because I felt alone for a very long time. I didn't understand who I was. I was getting told all these things I was doing was weird and not normal. And guess what? All the things I was doing were normal for the community that I'm now a part of. In an autistic community, in a neurodivergent community, it's completely normal for me to flap my arms, to make random noises sometimes. Everything that I got called weird for in school or different for in school are the exact same things that every other autistic person or ADHD or someone with another disability has experienced. In our community, these things are normal, and that's okay. We are not alone. If we find a community, we might find that community online on TikTok or Instagram or at Summit Camp. Community is such an important thing because it gives us a sense of belonging. Growing up, I didn't have autistic friends and I was always the outsider. I struggled to fit in, and I tried doing the things that these other people were doing, and I'm like, why is it working for them and not for me? And I struggled so much. I struggled with depression. I struggled with being happy. I struggled because every day I felt alone, like there was nobody else out there like me. I felt like an alien. And then I met all these people online, and I said to them, "Do you ever feel like you're an alien?" And they said, "All the time." I often ask myself, talking into this discussion, and we dive down this deep rabbit hole talking about the reasons why we might actually have been born on another planet and transported here. And it's the most like fantastic and whimsical and just this huge conversation full of fantasy. And it's so much fun. I think as an autistic person, we've got such a vast imagination, and we have so much knowledge on specific things. And we've got so much to share. And people often say, oh, an autistic person, they're very quiet, they don't speak, they don't do any of these things. But I don't think that's true, because if you ask an autistic person about their special interest, I bet you that they will tell you so much about it. They'll get so excited, they'll have the biggest smile on their face. And I think that's great. I think knowing who you are, finding people like you, finding a place where you can express yourself freely, that's very important. I wish that neurotypical people had that. I wish that people weren't afraid of expression, afraid to be themselves. I think, like, recently my nephew got diagnosed as autistic, and my sister she was distraught. She was so upset. She's just like, what does this mean? What's going to happen? And I was just like, what? I would be disappointed if my child was neurotypical. My life is so full of color. Since I've been able to unlock and be myself and be happy and find people like me, the world is so bright. I can feel everything around me. I can feel happiness on such a deep level. I get so excited about things. When I find something that I love, I really love it. And I think that's an amazing thing. So I've struggled with friends, and recently my best friend came home, and this was a video I filmed in my reaction when I found out. I could not contain myself. I hadn't seen him in 3 years, and you're expecting me to sit still? Imagine a teenage girl being a big Justin Bieber fan and going to a Justin Bieber concert, getting to meet him, and her having to stand there like this. I just don't think it's possible, and I don't think that we should have to contain that level of excitement. But often I've had to, because people will be like, what is that guy doing? Is he drunk? Why is this guy in a cool room right now jumping about? But I just had so much energy inside me, and I was just really excited, and I really wanted to express myself. It's something that people perceive as being so different, but that's okay. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to move about if you need. It's okay to feel things. And finding a community that's helped me to really find out who I am and to really be myself. I'm 28 years old, and I probably have more meltdowns now sometimes than when I was a kid. Because being an adult, there can be a lot of pressure. There's a lot of sensory inputs, and there's a lot of things for me to try and understand. Being independent, I'm on my own, and I'm having to figure a lot of these things out. And so it's important for me to have people around me that I can speak to clear my head, to let the feelings out. It's okay to talk to a psychologist or a therapist. These people are trained to help us. They're here to help us with our problems. I cannot reiterate that enough. As well, like, I know sometimes when I've had meltdowns, my family are like, oh, you're such an angry guy. And having a meltdown does not make you an angry person. It doesn't make you a violent person. If you have a meltdown and you break something, or you hurt someone, or you hurt yourself and you didn't mean to, that doesn't make you a bad person. I have had some bad meltdowns. I have damaged things I own. I have broken phones. I have put holes in walls at home. I have hurt myself. I have slapped my legs several times. And it's not that I want to break things. It's not that I'm an angry person. It's just that I've got a lot in this moment. I have a lot of negative energy inside of me that I've absorbed throughout the day. I've absorbed it through the comments people make to me, through not understanding these thoughts in my head, through bright lights, through things that are too noisy, through clothes that are too tight to wear. These things, they build up, and the energy needs to go somewhere. And often it's just a one little trigger. And so I try and communicate my needs. I try and take space to just sort of clear myself, to allow this energy to come out in a safe way. But yeah, I really want to emphasize that having a meltdown doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong, but it's important to find safe ways of having a meltdown, or having coping mechanisms to help you avoid a meltdown as well. I like to use the analogy of like a water bottle. So here's a water bottle. There's really not much water in it. This is me at the start of the day. I'm happy, I can function okay, but whilst people are telling me things, whilst I'm struggling with my thoughts, whilst the lights are too bright, whilst my jumper is too itchy, all these things, they're adding more and more water to this bottle. And so this bottle is getting filled up and filled up, and it becomes more full throughout the day. And unless I have a way for this water to dissipate, the bottle becomes more and more full. And it starts to get to the top of the bottle. And it just takes one little thing. The end of the day, like, I'm on edge and I'm saying to people, hey, just give me some space, just leave me alone. I need some space. If I have some space, if I'm using my coping mechanisms, the water goes down and it starts to go back to being a little bit lower. And that might be just playing a game to clear my head, or meditating, or going for a walk outside. But if there's too many sensory inputs, if the water keeps rising and rising, then there's a mess. And there's a lot of stuff that I have to deal with, and there's a lot of things that I have to clean up. There could be people that I have to apologize to. And it's important to understand what are our triggers, what overwhelms us, and what helps us. It's important to communicate our needs to the people around us. And just as well, it's important that they understand what our needs are as well. So these are my top 3 meltdown tips. I don't know if you can hear the video playing. Let's try this. Help me when I'm having a meltdown. Number 1, noise cancelling headphones and sometimes music. So I carry these with me everywhere. This really nice shaggy carpet. I love sitting on the floor. Sometimes it just helps to get on the floor and do nothing. Just some time by myself. I just need time to relax, breathe, and let my body settle. The most important thing is just to minimize the number of sensory inputs. Reduce the sound, minimize bright light, get comfortable. I hope this helps. Yeah, could you hear that okay? Just in case you can't, quick recap. So reduce the sensory input. So for me this morning, I was wearing this jumper. It was too tight, it was overwhelming, so I took it off. Upstairs, there's a really loud echo. So throughout the day, headphones on. That helps reduce the number of sensory inputs. I don't actually listen to music that much. I just have the noise cancelling mode on, and that really helps me focus. When I get home, I sit on the floor. I don't know what it is about the floor, but it's such a good place. If you're looking to have your own sensory room at home, I recommend just having a nice floor or a nice rug, just something to help ground yourself. A room that doesn't have clutter in it, like a nice empty room without clutter, it just feels nice. And my shirt got a bit wet when I squirted that thing before. All right, movement and nature. I think that's pretty much it.
Well, that was amazing, Ben. I think that was really enlightening to a lot of parents, and I think that it was really relatable to a lot of the kids that are here. So I'm going to go through some of the and ask some of the questions that people wrote. Our chat was a little active with some of it not related questions, so I'm just going to weed through here. Okay, some of the kids are excited about TikTok. Okay, everybody, you can follow Ben at Ben Heath Bro on TikTok. That's right, Ben, right?
Yeah, Ben Heath Bro.
Josh wanted to know where you graduated from college. Somebody also wanted to know where you were from, where your accent was from.
I'm from Australia.
And somebody
Home of Finding Nemo and dingoes and koalas.
That's true. Somebody wanted to know what your job is, what you do for work.
So I work in IT. So I do a bit of work with BI development, which is business intelligence, which means I develop pretty graphs that use data. Or I write little programs and scripts that go and get the data from places. Or I have users ring up with problems that need fixing, like how do I open a Word document, or my computer's not showing stuff, or I don't have the internet. What do I do?
And a follow-up question to that, somebody wants to know, do you enjoy your job? He's at work right now, so he may not can answer this honestly.
Yes and no. There's a lot of sensory inputs in this office that really bother me, and that can make it really difficult to work sometimes. And I've been struggling with a lot of thoughts, and I drive a long distance to get to work, and that can be very overwhelming at times. So it can actually be a real struggle to work. But I'm responsible for a lot of people, and I'm responsible for a lot of things. So it's very important that I find ways of coping with things and getting by. And yeah.
Awesome. Ben, can you talk a little bit about you living independently? I think you've mentioned to me that you worked and saved up to buy a place of your own. And when did you figure out your strategies to live independently?
I guess when I started living independently, I sort of lived independently for a while, and I was able to get my clothes washed and things like that by myself. And it was a lot of trial and error. So I would just wash my clothes, and then, mum showed me, like, you have to sort your clothes into different colors and this and that. And that was so confusing. And so now I just have white t-shirts. So then I don't have to sort them by color.
I have a question.
Smart.
Yeah.
Hey, Chloe, go ahead.
Do you guys have Pop-Tarts at camp?
That's not a question for Ben. Okay, we're going to be asking related questions for Ben in the chat.
Oh.
Okay.
I have a question.
Hey guys, we're going to be asking in the chat because it'll get too chaotic if everybody's trying to ask questions. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. So Ben, a mom wants to know, how does technology impact positively or negatively in your daily experiences?
So some positive things. I use the notes on my phone a lot. Notes help me remember things. They help me create checklists. Let me find, I don't know if you can see, but there is a lot of notes here. And it's interesting because I can go through the notes and I can see what makes the most common thing there. Like, I've got a lot of notes here that say TikTok, 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 just random TikTok ideas I've had throughout the day. Like, I'll have an experience where someone says something to me and I say something back and it's not right and it's funny, and so I'll use that as inspiration for something. So if it says TikTok a lot, then that means I'm focusing on TikTok a lot. There's ideas here about, like, business ideas and ideas for projects and travel. And then when I've been wanting to date a girl, there's like lots of notes here about trying to understand her and trying to understand myself. And so I'm like writing these things down so I can have these thoughts and I can come back to them. And writing them down helps give me a bit of clarity. And I can go back through and I can say, okay, these are the things that are on my mind at the moment. What are okay to be there and what do I need help with? I can talk to a psychologist and I can say, hey, this is what's on my mind the most. This is what I've been writing. I can make sure that these thoughts are always positive. Calendars and notes as well help me to keep track of what I need to do throughout the day. I use project management software now to help organize some of my notes and my thoughts as well. So I've been trying to plan a trip to America, and it's a lot of work. So I'm having to use a project management software to group things into little columns and put notes under there. So these are the documents I need for my visa application. These are the places I want to go. These are the things I want to do. Yeah, that's where technology really helps me. It helps me automate parts of my life as well. Yeah, I have a problem though where I think it's a blessing and a curse, but I can fixate on things or hyperfixate. And sometimes that means that I'll be down and out and I'm just sitting there and I'll get fixated. I'll just end up doing nothing on my phone. So I've got my phone out and I'm just looking at the same thing. So I'll go to Instagram, I'll check if I've got any messages, and then I won't actually feel like replying to any of them. So I just leave them there. And then I'll go and I'll check cryptocurrency prices. And then I'll go and I'll check Reddit to see what people are talking about on Reddit. And then I'm just like, oh, well, I've still got time. Well, I'll go back to Instagram. And I just get stuck in this loop. And it's very problematic because sometimes I need space and sometimes I need people. And when I'm down, it's very hard to know whether I need people, or it's very hard to reach out when I do need that help. Noise cancelling headphones, they are one piece of technology that have helped me heaps. I didn't have headphones for months. I'm like, oh, my headphones broke. I don't need new ones. I needed new ones. I really wish I had bought them sooner. I bring these everywhere now. Like my checklist at home, it has like headphones, keys, wallet, laptop, whatever I need for work. Like the number one thing on my list is that I bring my headphones.
Well, it sounds like technology really helps you a lot in your life, and I know a lot of parents are concerned about gaming and social media and the negative impacts of that. It sounds like you've found a positive impact from TikTok in finding your community and finding people to relate to.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's the other thing. Yeah, like if I didn't have TikTok, I wouldn't have a lot of things in my life now that I've got. I've got a lot of friends. I've got people that mean more to me than anything in the world. It's helped me to open up to discover more about myself and feel safe doing that. I've written a children's book. I never would have dreamed, and I never would have had the platform to market that to if I didn't start TikTok.
And tell everybody the name of your children's book.
Maybe I'm different. I think, let me see if I can. I thought I put
in the slideshow that Ben had. A lot of those illustrations are from his children's book. It's not published yet, but soon. And when it is, I will let everyone know in case you're interested in buying it for a young tot.
Yeah. So is my screen still sharing?
Yeah.
So this is actually where I live, but it was my grandfather's house originally, and he had this big Norfolk pine, and it's not there anymore because the last person to own it got rid of it. But the line in the book here is, I like to climb trees mighty high, so high in fact I can touch the sky.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
This one used to say mug instead of mud, and this instead of sis. But with some help, I learnt them all, and now there's no word that I will miss. This was my favorite tracksuit. I used to wear this everywhere. Mum bought it 3 sizes too big, and that was the best thing she ever could have done because I got to wear it for more years.
That's awesome.
Oh, I had a video here as well.
Sure. You want to show it?
I don't know if it's going to work.
Oh, it says, "Dear Autism Parents."
These ones are really weird, so let me. Oh yeah, so I made this for parents. Yeah, so I used the same bowl and the same spoon for as long as I could, which was years. And when that spoon broke, it was the worst day ever because then I had to go finding a new spoon. And this was a very specific spoon. I got it in a Macca's toy. It was a plastic spoon, but it was like the right thickness of plastic. It was the right size. And then I ended up having to go to this plastic Milo spoon that I got. And it was a bigger size, like it could fit more food on there, but I eventually adjusted. Um, but yeah, I had my quirks as a kid and I've still got them now.
Well, I think we're all a little quirky, and I think that that is what I'm hoping that the majority of the takeaway from this lecture is that, to embrace yourself. And, Ben, you said
Yeah.
you got a lot of things from out of TikTok, and I think that that's because you were brave enough to put yourself out there, your real self, your unmasking self. And that's what, people were attracted to. They were attracted to you letting your guard down and being yourself. And I think that just pulls people to you, and makes you very relatable, especially in this community.
Thanks. Yeah, so when I made my TikTok, I didn't follow anyone that I knew. So no one I knew had it. And when my mom and my sister wanted to follow me, I was like, no, thank you. Nope, because this was me discovering myself. It was letting down my walls, and my family had been like, I don't like who you are since you've done this TikTok stuff. Like, you're so different. You never used to do this stuff. I never saw you do this ever. I don't like it. And I said, I was masking before. And I'm like, it helps me be free. Like, I need these things to just let it all out. And they're like, well, then can you please mask again, please? I want you to mask. I'm embarrassed. I'm seeing you, like, you can't be doing these things in public. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, what would people at work think? What would they know? What if you said you were high functioning Asperger's when you told people rather than saying autistic? They're going to think that you're not very good. And I was like, well, I think they already think I'm pretty good. And so when I tell them I'm autistic, they're going to have their minds blown because they're going to realize that being autistic doesn't mean that we're less than someone else. It means that we can achieve really great things. And it's important for me to own my identity. And it's important that I'm a voice for other people and that I can let people know that you can be proud and be autistic, or you can be proud and have ADHD, that you can have any different type of brain structure or chemistry, and that's okay, because the best thing you can be is yourself. And you shouldn't apologize for who you are. You shouldn't have to limit your expression. There's a right place for the right time, and sometimes that can be difficult for us to learn and understand. But acceptance and inclusion is a beautiful thing, and I think we need more of that.
Great answers, Ben. I think that is so inspiring, and that's exactly what our population needs to hear. We have some time for a few more questions. I'm going to kind of rapid fire some at you. Oh, someone wants to know, what are your special interests, and are you happy
now? I'm happy sometimes. I'm trying to figure out at the moment what's going to be the best thing for me to be truly happy. I had a chat with my boss this morning to work out what's the best thing for me to do, where to go, what to do. But I've got so much in my life to be grateful for. And I'm really hopeful for the day when I am just smiling every single day. Some of my special interests, I love cryptocurrency trading. So I love following the charts. I love watching it go up and down. I love understanding what's going on in the space. I guess computers are another special interest. I love painting as well. I probably don't hyperfixate or fixate as much on my special interests as I would like to, because throughout school, parents and teachers were like, you need to have more interests, you need to have more than one. And I feel really limited by that, because I think it's an amazing thing when we can learn such a vast amount about a single topic.
Awesome.
TikTok is a special interest sometimes too. So I love analyzing the data on there and creating new content and optimizing it and seeing the results.
Someone wants to know how you got started on TikTok.
So I created an account, and then I started looking at hashtag autistic and following other autistic creators, looking at their videos, commenting on them, liking them. I took notes on what they were doing, and I just started posting content. The biggest thing with TikTok and the way the algorithm works is it's about communities. So I had to find the community that I wanted to be a part of. I had to decide what did I want to express on them. And that's great, because as an autistic person, narrow interests. So I just focused on autism to get started. And then I started expressing other parts of my life. So I talked about my experience trying to figure out how to date girls, and that struck an interest. I posted some of my meltdowns, and people found that interesting as well, because it was just like a raw sort of format. And I looked at what worked, and I got rid of the things that didn't work as well. I engaged with all my followers as well. And I made sure that I was engaging in the community that I wanted to be a part of. So if I saw another autistic person, I'd like their post, I'd comment, I'd support them. And the algorithm would say, oh, so these are the kinds of videos that he likes. And yeah, I had to find like a narrow selection of things and just get the algorithm to have me placing it in there. And that really put me into the community that I wanted to be a part of. If I was looking to create a profile about art or cosplay, I would follow art accounts or cosplay accounts. And I'd try and just keep it to that rather than having this spread out thing.
Awesome. Good answer. Then Graham, who is a camper at Summit Camp, really wants to know, what is your favorite sport, if you have one?
I used to love going to the skate park a lot. So I used to scooter.
What's that?
I play basketball at the moment, but I don't watch it on
What's
TV.
that? Sorry.
But
Oh,
Pardon?
sorry. What do you mean by scooter? Like, oh, like skateboard, like.
yeah, so
Oh,
I used to ride BMX and scooter, like a razor scooter.
like a scooter.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to be able to do a flip as well, which used to make my mum really scared. So that's probably why I don't do it as much anymore.
Then Josh wants to know, what's your favorite color?
It depends on the thing. I really like purple lighting. Purple lighting feels nice. I like the color green, but like a soft green. I like my blue headphones. If I had to say my favorite color based on my clothing, it would be white.
Gotcha. Somebody wants to know the bullies that you dealt with in school. How did you deal with them, and how maybe would you deal differently with them now that you've grown up and you know your coping mechanisms?
I don't know if I'd have the best response. When I was a kid, I got picked on a lot. Were
Uh-oh, our internet may have went out.